The foreign ministers are arriving in Cape Town for the two-day G20 meeting in South Africa. This is the first major meeting of the grouping since South Africa took over its presidency. It also marks the very first time that an African nation is presiding over the international forum. The summit is being held under the theme of solidarity, equality and sustainability, and it is taking place without the United States. Now, the American Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, will be skipping the two-day event in Johannesburg after criticizing South Africa's policies as anti-American. Now, the American President Donald Trump had earlier signed an executive order halting American aid to South Africa over a land reform law within the country. Donald Trump claims that this land reform law within South Africa is discriminatory against some of the country's white minority. And Rubio's decision to skip the G20 meeting underscores a major deterioration in the U.S. ties with South Africa. However, South African Foreign Minister had earlier said that the United States will be represented in one way or another, stressing that Rubio's decision was not a complete boycott of South Africa's G20 by the U.S. Meanwhile, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, the top European diplomats, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and also China's Foreign Minister will be attending the G20 summit in Johannesburg. It's also pretty pertinent to note here that South Africa's G20 presidency takes place at a time when the world is facing a series of overlapping and mutually reinforcing crises. And this has also come just a few days after the Ukraine peace talks in Saudi Arabia between the United States and Russia. So these are live images that are coming straight from South Africa of the G20 summit that is currently underway in South Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa there is addressing the people who have gathered. And our correspondent Calden Ongmu, who's been tracking the story very closely from Johannesburg, has sent us this report. Listen in.
South Africa's G20 foreign ministers meeting scheduled for 2 days is expected to discuss a various range of issues, but geopolitics will take center stage. South Africa hopes to convert discussions at the G20 into tangible action. Pretoria has been clear that its G20 presidency is a valuable opportunity to place the needs of Africa and rest of the global south more firmly on the international development agenda. It is a significant meeting. 35 of foreign ministers, both from G20 and invited countries, are expected to attend the meeting. It is also the first time G20 is hosted on African soil. This milestone comes at a time of geopolitical flux, amplifying questions about Pretoria's ability to navigate global fault lines, particularly with the return of US President Donald Trump. So the question is, can South Africa seize this moment to shape the agenda, or will its G20 presidency be overwhelmed by domestic fragilities, regional tensions and global power shifts? This is Calden Ongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa for WION World is One.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.